Now, I already told you people, first one's free. Then what I say? I said I will shut that shit down. No exceptions. Now, I don't know what kind of lying assholes you've been dealing with, but I'm a man of my word. First impressions are important. I need you to know me. So, back to it.
Next part, man, we're going to be talking about the black tax. Okay, keep in mind the last things that I said in that video: manipulation, degradation, and exploitation of black people is how white people get so rich. This is proven even to this very day. But they don't have to move the chess piece. The chess piece moves on its own. We are doing things to ourselves in order for the white man to continue advancing economically and every other aspect of society. He is advancing further and further ahead of us, and we are falling further and further behind because we are so focused on the immaterial things, that those things that do not matter. We are focusing on a lot of the toys that they give us, instead of focusing on the actual confrontation or the war that we're in, and we're not even seeing it. It's something like a Cold War, or an invisible war, like with the angels and the demons. If you believe in those things, if you believe in angels and demons, that is the war that is going on with us. It is a subconscious, it is a overt, covert war that is going on between us and white people. They fix the media and they fix society in order for them to hide themselves. They created a matrix in order for black people to be disillusioned or in this what would you call it? They're hypnotized, okay, by like I said, those things that do not matter. They focus on immaterial things, whatever those things may be to them, because what may be immaterial to me may not be immaterial to you. But then again, at the same time, they are all immaterial things. But it peeks its ugly head. It peeks its ugly little head out every now and then, and this is how we're able to determine what is racist and what is not. You can hear it in the undertones of the words that they speak, or reading between the lines. You see that they are, speaking racist. You see that they are doing racist things. You see that you see the laws. When you look at the laws that were created back in the early development of America, you see those laws that were made, and you see that those laws only worked for one particular people, starting with the Indians. And when I know that a lot of you racist whites who are watching this video are probably saying that the Indians aren't complaining as much as y'all. Why are y'all still complaining? This goes back to the other video I did, and I think I'm gonna start saying this a lot too, that the Indians, the Japanese, the Chinese, the Jews, all those people are not complaining about their situation because America broke every single last one of them off a piece of the pie. The Indians own casinos. How many black people own casinos? And you could do the research, and you can find the stats of how many people own casinos, but a lot of, if they're a black person, that money that they got to start that casino did not come from the United States as a I'm sorry. Okay, they gave the Indians a piece of land and a check. They only gave us redlining and drug liquor stores and churches. Okay, so getting right into this next part, man, talking about the black tax. Let's see here. I got a note. Let's see. Okay. In addition to devastating rates of poverty, disease, miseducation, and incarceration, there is the consistent harassment and persecution by white supremacists, which include police racially profiling blacks, the shadowing of blacks in department stores, blacks paying more in loan fees than whites with the same credit rating, hospital refusing blacks proper treatment, employer engaging in discriminatory hiring practices, banks, insurance companies, even food delivery services redlining black neighborhoods, corporations slap me, corporations instituting last hired, first fired employment policies, government agent targeting blacks with light skin and straight hair. Okay, and I labeled this entire paragraph "The Strike You Are Born With." Now, a lot of racist white people will say that that we make excuses or we're just complaining when we talk about we're born with one strike against us. When this is actually true. They have done studies. Now, y'all the ones that, love statistics and shit like that, where the statistics show that black people with black sounding names are less hired than those who have white sounding names. Now, I'm pretty sure that the reason I've been working where I've been working for as long as I have been working is, my first name is most definitely a white man's, and my last name is more definitely a white man's. On state paper, you know what I'm saying, on birth certificate and all that shit, which I got to get changed. I'm trying to get my name legally changed. So, those of you who are Christians who like, pray for me. But we're born with that strike against us. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is shown in that statistic right there alone. We don't even have to because when they look at that name and they see Shamika, matter of fact, that's right off the bat. Her name could be Shamika Johnson, but even though Johnson's a white last name, they're looking at this, oh, okay, Shamika, put her paper over here somewhere. But and this is especially, well, I'm not gonna say that, but black sounding names is a strike against us when it comes to employment. That's economic castration, goddammit. And then when it comes to poor education, this is the redlining practice that is done. And you see this especially down here. A lot of people from Shreveport, the white schools, got C.E. Bird. That's why I went Cattle Magnet when my sister went. No, not Cattle Magnet. You got Cattle Magnet. Cattle Magnet is a white school. And then you have Captain Shreve. Captain Shreve, that's where my sister went. That's a white school. And I think you got Evangel. Evangel is a white school. Airline is a white school. But that's in the Shreveport Bossier area. But those schools are redlined. Airline, matter of fact, is on the busiest strip in Bossier. Might not be the busiest, but it's on the main strip. And that's where a lot of the white kids go. You got some black people go to these schools too. I'm not denying that fact. But when I say that they're white schools from their inception, from their origin, the first kids that went to those schools were all white schools. You know what I'm saying? Black schools. Now, Fair Park is an all black school now, but when Fair Park started out, Fair Park was an all black school. And matter of fact, this is the perfect example. I have had conversations with white people who graduated from Fair Park back in the 50s, 60s, and they would say, they would tell me about games that they would have, football games that they would have with Bird. Fair Park no longer plays football games with Bird at all. You'll never see it. And that is part of that redlining shit. When you look at Bird's football schedule, Bird is always going to play another dominant white school from its inception till now. And that's another part of the being born, because a lot of places, they look at the high school that you went to. Why do you think that these jobs, why in the hell would a job application need to know what school you went to? Why do they need to know that? Why can't they just know if you got a high school diploma and a GED? See, they want to know what high school you went to, not based on your education and nothing like that. From my understanding, or from the way that I feel about it, my 2 cents concerning that is you put your school, what high school you went to. Matter of fact, they got some of them have elementary schools, some have middle school, and they have high school, and they got college, and they trying to see how did you move through society from a child till now. And for those of us down here in Shreveport, you know what I'm saying, if you went to, let's say, Midway, your elementary year, I mean, I think it's a middle school now. I'm not sure, but you went to Midway, and then your elementary year, you went to Hollywood, your middle school year, and then you went to Woodlawn, your high school year. In their mind, they have you already figured out. You see what I'm saying? But that's just something for a lot of y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's the only example I come up with, because I don't know the living conditions of other black people in other cities, but I do know the living conditions of my brothers and sisters that live right here in Shreveport. But yeah, the strike you are born with, all of these things, man. Now let's just run through them, and let's just kind of expound on them. Let's start with the first one: police racially profiling. Now, peace to all the guys and the goddesses up there in New York who put New York on blast for the police brutality and the police racially profiling, the stop and frisk shit that goes on up there in New York, because we don't experience that down here in Shreveport. Shreveport, I think we got the best police, really in the state, of Louisiana. We don't really have to worry about, stop and frisk. I mean, it's never been done here, but they will pull your ass over. You know what I'm saying? But that's not even something that we just really have to expound on. We know already that when it comes to police racially profiling, that we are the first ones to be profiled, and right after us is the Mexicans and Latinos. I don't know how to differ y'all from each other. I just know all of y'all like tacos and burritos. The next part, talking about shadowing of blacks in department stores. Now, peace to the God Tarian Rain, man, for sharing the brother's video where he was being harassed by a Chinese bitch in a corner store. Now, first and foremost, we ain't even got to shop with y'all ass. You know what I'm talking about? We just go in there, you get some shit, and I mean, y'all don't even have shit in y'all damn store to sell. Now, I went into a beauty supply store. Now, that's what they own down here. They own a lot of the beauty supply stores. They don't own the the come and buy snack cake stores. A lot of those stores are owned by the Arabs. You know what I'm talking about? They own those stores. The Chinese and the Koreans or whatever the fuck you want to call. I don't know them from each other because I know all of them got squinchy eyes. You know what I'm saying? But those are the people that own the beauty supply stores here. So I walked into one of those beauty supply stores, man, and it was me and my wife. We was going in there, and the woman up there at the register, she was following my wife from the time my wife walked in to the time my wife walked to the register. And my wife, she caught her in the middle of, just looking up there. And you see this woman looking, I'm like, damn, and I watched her, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, she saw me looking, and it was just more like, nigga, fuck you. I'm looking at y'all. I don't want y'all to steal my shit. And my wife even said, what the fuck in here do I want to steal? You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. The next part up in here, blacks paying more loan fees than whites with the same credit rating. And I haven't seen this. This is something that I've heard of. But down here, we don't really see white people who get loans. You know what I'm saying? If you see a white person in a loan store, they the dingiest of the dingiest white person. But I don't know for a fact if they get if they pay less interest on their loans. But when it comes to school loans, I have overheard white people, talk about the their percentage rate that they were paying back. And I heard the percentage. I can't remember what it was. This was back when I was in college, and I thought, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not paying that much back for mine. And I was, in my mind, I thought that it was just a different loan that was that they had gotten, but we all had gotten the same loan from the same bank or whatever. But yeah, the next part is hospitals refusing blacks proper treatment. And of course, you'll see this in the Hidden Colors documentary. You know what I'm saying? If you get that. Documentary, they'll mention this in there. I can't remember which one. I believe it's either 1 or 2. It's not 3 and 4. I know that for sure. But the treatment that we get as black people when we go to the doctor, they are treating us like they treat those test rats and what's the other shit that they work on? But those test animals that they work on or whatever, that's how they treat us. And their higher science than that is what they learn from books, learning how to treat themselves. None of them, in my from what I have researched, none of them have really just studied the African culture in order to know how to treat us. Matter of fact. And the best proof that they do not know how to treat us is because there's a picture. And I may put that picture as the default picture for this video. But there's this picture of them putting these tools in the black woman back in slavery, trying to figure out how the I don't know what the hell they was trying to do, man, but they, it's a fucked up picture, and it is still what they're doing today. All that poking and shit, they don't have to do all that, man. There are other ways to get inside of the woman without doing that. That shit is fucking barbaric. You know what I'm saying? And if the feminists want to talk about anything, that's one fucking thing feminists need to talk about. But the feminists is majority white women, and white women like freaky shit like that. Moving on to the next part. talking about employers engaging in discriminatory hiring practices. Discriminatory, that goes back to what I was talking about at the very beginning of this, when I started expounding, talking about what do they call affirmative action. That is what affirmative action is all about. Looking at those names, on the application, and fuck white people, man, trying to get us to make ourselves like them, because that's not really what. If you want black people to be civilized, and you want our civilized to be your version of civilized, all of us aren't civilized the same way. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see civilized over in the Congo, or you want to see civilized over in Amazon, if you want to see civilized in all these other places, their way of being civil is not our way or America's way of being civil. And all of that is really just ties in with the name, because you want us to have white sounding names in order for us to get a job. And then you don't just want us to have white sounding names. You want us to walk like you. You want us to talk like you. You want us to handle situations like you. You want us to pull ourselves up by our own bootstrap, which you did never do. You never pulled yourself up by your own bootstrap. No white person that ever advanced in society, economically, and you know what I'm saying, y'all didn't pull yourselves up by your own bootstrap. The very strike that we had against us was actually a plus for you, which was your skin color. And I know, man, check this out. The very first job that I was hired on, I mean, I'm still at that job now, but the very first job that I got hired on, there was this white guy who got hired, and he had shit all on his record. They did his background check. He didn't even get fired. Matter of fact, he thought that he was going to get fired, but he didn't. I transferred to another store of the same name, you know what I'm saying, same company, and there was a black guy who worked in in another department in the store, and they ran his background check after months of being there, and they fired his ass for what? Lying on his application. Now, I don't know if the white guy told the truth on his, but why in the fuck would you hire someone with not one felony, but 2 felonies on their background? But this guy had misdemeanors. This black guy got fired from the job that I work at for a misdemeanor. Not only that, I'm not gonna give you too much of that. What's the next part? What we got? Where we at? Banks, insurance companies. We know those. Even food delivery services, Domino's and all them, man. And I think it's kind of fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember where it was, where I had ordered pizza, but the pizza place was like right behind where we was. And they was like, nah, you got to call such and such. I'm like, whoa. I'm like right behind y'all, and y'all can, no, sir, that's against our policy. Some fucked up shit, man. But then you got, black neighborhoods, of course. Corporation, institutions, last hired, first fired, employment policies, that one. Government agencies targeting black elected officials, and white society preferring blacks with light skin and straight hair. And that is what we see. Now, a lot of these people, when we look at Hollywood, we see the people that's being casted in these movies. And the very first example is the Jeffersons. Is it the Jeffersons? Yeah, the Jeffersons. They changed the actor that played his son. They changed him. You seen that and Tyler Perry did the shit. I don't know if y'all remember, but the Brianna character in Meet the Browns, they changed that. She was brown, you know what I'm saying, but they switched her for like the chick that's gonna be playing in what is that? Dear White People on the Netflix. The lead character, the lead female character in that, they changed the darker skinned girl into the lighter skinned girl. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I don't know if the TV show did all that good, but I know it's got a few seasons under its belt. But at the same time, Tyler Perry sold the fuck out, man, when he did that shit. I don't know what kind of shit went on backstage or behind the scenes, but that was some fucked up shit to go from a dark-skinned girl to a lighter-skinned girl. And not only that, man, he changed the entire content of that character. She was naive and she was headstrong. You know, the first character that they had to play the Brianna character. The second one was just fucking retarded. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that didn't help you. That didn't help you none. Not in my eyes. You still sold the fuck out to make your show do, well or whatever. But that is something that we see all the time, and that is something that a lot of comedians have made jokes about in the past. But yeah, getting right into this next paragraph. Over time, blacks have come to refer to this hateful burden as the black tax, the extra cost paid by blacks in a racist society for the color of their skin. Now, I got a note. Debating White People 101, where's the racism? Yeah, go back and look at that video. You know what I'm saying? It ties in right with this one, man. You know what I'm saying? When all these white people say, I don't see racism, racism is gone, and no, it's still live, and it's live at 5, you know what I'm saying, and 24/7. Know what I'm talking about? But it is what it is, man. We're gonna rise and beat this shit. The list of conscious and unconscious acts of racial discrimination is virtually endless. It's everywhere, and a lot of you white people, a lot of you racist white people, just choose to look over it. You know it's there, but to admit that you see it, also you would have to admit that your people, the group of people that you are a part of, are low down, dirty savages. And that's just what it is. Consequently, blacks view police and judicial officers, landlords, social workers, real estate agents, store owners, and bankers, for example, not as dutiful public servants or as venerable private merchants engaged in lawful enterprise, but as quasi-IRS agents under various guises seeking to collect the ever due American black tax. Man, 28 minutes strong in this motherfucker. Look, man, I can't talk no more. The whole purpose of this series, for those of you who are just now subscribe to this channel, checking out the content that's on this channel. This channel is for, just debating white people. Whenever we talk about those things that goes on in politics and how they all affect us as black people, they want to say that we play the victim card, but how can we play a victim card when that's what we are? We can't. That's just like trying to tell Denzel, we need you to portray yourself in this movie. You see what I'm saying? There's no way we could play victim if we already are victim. A dead possum can't play dead. Know what I'm talking about? Man, it feels good, man, beating y'all heads over the head, man, with this information. I love doing this shit.
You still there? I just don't know. It seems like you're trying to speak, but you just took a hell of a hit. I just popped your skull so hard, your eyeball just popped out. And it is gross as shit.
Yeah, I'll find you.
Oh, hell. I can see this is hard on you guys. I am sorry. I truly am. But I did say it. No exceptions.
You bunch of pussies.